All right. It's BC back with another video. Guys, have you ever watched crazy cool GoPro content? Dudes sending it on snowmobiles, guys shooting the track on dirt bikes, and think, wow, I really need to get a GoPro. And then you buy a GoPro and you realize your footage looks like dog water. It looks awful and it looks nothing like the GoPro guys that you saw before, and you're wondering, are they even shooting on a GoPro? Or do they have a huge cinema rig attached to their head? Let me give you a few quick and easy tips on how to make your GoPro footage look like the professional GoPro footage that you see at the kiosks in Best Buy or Walmart, or maybe you saw a crazy video on YouTube. But I think we can get your GoPro footage looking dang close to that. Stick around, guys. Later in this video, I'm going to go over a common mistake that so many people are making that's making their footage look absolutely awful. So stick around for that.
Get on in the car, one time give it all, bust it open hard, let me see you drop.
The GoPro that I use is a GoPro Hero 10 Black, and so all the things that I say are going off that. However, it's very similar on any other GoPro, so just be patient, dig into your settings, and find what you need to do. The first tip that I want to get into to make your dog water footage look brilliantly cinematic is some accessories. So what I mean by that is there's two things that I believe you need. If you're shooting in the cold, get Enduro batteries. I don't need to go into it. Just do it. You'll be thankful you did because they are so good to have. It ups your film time from 5 minutes to an hour. And if you're not shooting in cold weather, then you don't really need them. But if you're doing any skiing, snowboarding, snowshoeing, snowmobiling, anything like that, grab Enduro batteries if they make them for the GoPro that you have. So that we need to get mounting hardware. We'll go over mounting in a little while. Okay, camera settings. Camera settings are huge. So many people get their GoPro, they take it out of the box, they shoot with it, and then there again, they download it on their computer and they say, this looks terrible. I paid all this money for a GoPro and this looks like beep. So let's go into camera settings. The first thing we want to do, or that I do, is turn my color to flat color on the GoPro. The reason I do this is because I'm going to edit the GoPro footage. I'm going to correct colors. I'm going to make the colors look better. And so it gives me more freedom to play with colors when I shoot in a flat profile. If you're shooting in the unflat profile with GoPro, they're now entering a picture profile, which means basically GoPro is adding in their colors and their saturation levels and everything like that, and that allows less freedom when you go to edit and post. So if you're going to edit, turn it into flat. It'll make your footage look better. It gives you some more freedom. Second thing, sharpness. Lower your sharpness. On action cameras, they have a tendency to be super sharp, and you might think that that's a good thing, but if you're going after that cinematic, beautiful, really professional look, the sharpness is going to kill that. So turn it down to medium or low. I think that's a good place to start. If it's too soft, then turn it up, but I don't think it'll be too soft for you. I think you'll be happy with that. The next thing is increase bitrate. We want the camera and the sensor to absorb as much data as we can, so then we have more information when we go to edit it, and overall it looks better. So turn it up. I don't need to go into the scientific things of why to turn it up. Just turn it up and you'll be good. Let's dig into frame rate. Frame rate is huge. I want to explain it like this. In video, it's a series of pictures mashed together. So the higher your frame rate is, the more pictures your camera is then taking per second. So 120 frames per second is taking 120 pictures per second. Now, why would you want 120 versus 60 versus 30 versus 24? You want higher frame rates when you're going to slow the footage down. Say you're surfing and you want the wave to flow over real cinematically, real slowly, instead of it just rushing over you. We want to be shooting at something like 120 frames. So if you have no no plans of editing or slowing anything down. Shoot in 24 or 30 frames per second. That is what the human eye sees and it looks most natural, is 24 or 30. If we want to slow it down, we're going to go up in frame rate. So when we go up in frame rate to 60 frames per second, we're able to slow it down to then 50% of the original speed. So when you go into your editing software, Premiere, Final Cut, DaVinci, Resolve, all those, you'll be able to slow 60 frames per second down to 50%. If you want more than that, if you want that really slow motion, go to 120 frames per second. You'll be able to slow it down to 25% of speed. So we're just making, the more the frame rate, the slower we can make it. And we can't go more than that in each of those frame rates, or we'll introduce like that glitchy look of slow motion where, say you're snowmobiling and you jump and the snow's moving like this, it's glitching out instead of it coming out real cinematically. So frame rate depends on if you want to slow it down or not. With frame rate, we want to talk about resolution. If you want to shoot, say, 60 frames per second on the GoPro 10, you can still shoot in 4K. Just play around with frame rates. I can make another video just explaining frame rates if you guys need it. Leave it in the comments if you need it. Moving on. Alright guys, so now we got the camera settings absolutely dialed in to get you cinematic footage with the GoPro. Let's talk about mounting the GoPro. So this, and like I talked about in the beginning of the video, mounting is the #1 mistake that I see on GoPro videos. So many times, myself included, you go out and you shoot with the wrong mount for your activity. And for me, the most common is I put the GoPro on the top of my helmet and I'm shooting down, and all you can see for 20 minutes of GoPro footage is 50% of the frame is visor, a little bit is the snowmobile, and a little bit is the forward or the landscape. Same thing with the dirt bike, same thing with mountain biking. So think about where you need to mount the GoPro. If you're going to go dirt biking or snowmobiling, it's a good idea to mount it here so it gets everything. It gets the snowmobile, it gets the dirt bike, it also gets the land in front of you. You can also mount it up here. A lot of people mount it above their goggles. If you're kayaking, maybe play around with putting it in front of you, or a chest mount or something like that. If you're fishing, a cool thing is to put the GoPro right here. When you're fighting a fish, you get the reel, you get the pole, you get the water in front. It looks super good. Play around with the mounting. But the biggest mistake is people don't frame the GoPro right with the mount, and then you end up watching 15 minutes of a helmet instead of 15 minutes of you getting her going on in the trees on a snowmobile or on the track with a dirt bike. So keep that in mind. People get to this point where they've shot perfectly, they've mounted it perfectly, the footage is so good, but then they edit it and it sucks. They don't know what they're doing in editing. Let me give you a super brief overview of editing, and if you need more information, comment and I'll make another video. We want to open our editing software. We want to put these clips into a 24 frame per second timeline. So it doesn't matter if you shot in 120 or 60 or 24 or 30 or anything. Put it into a 24 frame per second timeline. Slow it down, cut it in there, and it'll make it look more natural to the eye. The other thing is, for those of you shooting in the flat color profile like I recommend, you're going to want to color grade that, whether that's with LUTs, whether that's with color editing wheels or tone curves or whatever. Do that to make it look right, and if you need help, let me know. And then when you export it, it's going to be in landscape. If you want to post reels, turn the GoPro when you're filming up and down. But when you export the footage, take it and get it to your phone, airdrop it to your phone. That's what I do. And then crop it on your phone to the aspect ratio that you need to post it on YouTube, or not YouTube, Instagram or TikTok or YouTube Shorts or wherever you're going to post it. That's a vertical 9:16 aspect ratio. That's what I use. So that's the editing side of things. editing is super, super complex, or it can be. So just play with the basic things. If you guys have any questions, reach out. Thanks for watching. And that concludes my tips to make your GoPro footage go from dog water to beautifully cinematic. Thank you guys for watching. Hang in there. I was adding in their